Everybody, give us a big warm welcome, put your hands together for the first time in 2023 for Danny Ford. And first off, we can announce, as we did yesterday, a brand new name associated with the Pirates. It's not brand new to the Pirates, but it's brand new as the title sponsor. It's the Poole Wessex Marine Pirates.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as I said in the announcement video, delighted to be able to have Wessex Marine so closely associated with the club and be calling them title sponsors this year. You know, anyone who knows behind the scenes, they've been heavily involved for 20 odd years. So yeah, to finally be able to call ourselves the Poole Wessex Marine Pirates is a good one.
It's well deserved, and we wish David, Guy, Amanda, and Toby our very best for a successful season. Delighted to carry their name. For you, it's embarking on your third term at the helm, so there's no surprises now, and the experience is behind you, but it never lets up, does it?
No, well, yeah, there's definitely still surprises. Speedway throws up a lot of surprises all the time, unfortunately. Or fortunately, sometimes they're nice surprises, but not very often. Yeah, no, I think I've got a good grasp of things now. Still have to pick up the phone to the old man every now and then to ask for his advice, but the less I have to do of that, the better.
Unfortunately, he's not here today, but then maybe you think that's a good thing.
Oh no, it's definitely a good thing.
So, building a team straight away with a change in the averages, it was a disaster for you in some respects. I think perhaps the impression I get is that leading up to it, you were expecting to keep the top three league leaders, but obviously that wasn't going to be the case once the averages and the team limit was set. Having to lose Danny, that was a big wrench, wasn't it?
That was probably the hardest decision I've had to make as a promoter. The truth is that if the points limit would have stayed at 42, we'd have had 6 of the same riders we did last year, guaranteed, and that was our plan. We went to a meeting before the pairs at Oxford, and that all changed very quickly, and we went from 42 to 40, and that kind of puts things into limbo and spirals. There was nothing to choose. Obviously, Richard becoming a Poole asset. He was fantastic for us last year, so we knew that he was going to be nailed on. And then there was nothing to choose between Danny and Stevie, and both exactly the same average, won everything there has been to win here in the past couple of seasons. And it was toss a coin. We'd already committed to Steve, promised him a testimonial, and that's all it came down to. We like to think we're people of our words, and we stuck to that. So yeah, as I said, it was really tough, and I'm absolutely gutted for not seeing Danny, and sort of seeing him in the red car suit the other day. That did hurt a little bit, but I'm sure we'll see him as a Pirate at some stage. We'll see him next week at Steve Worrall's testimony as a Pirate. So there we go.
Nice to know that we're all still good friends. That's the main thing.
No, absolutely, no bad blood, and Danny understands. He's obviously a veteran of the sport. He understands the game, averages. It's a numbers game, and he's already said to us that he's so keen to be back with Poole as soon as possible. So.
And once that sort of spiral hit, you were then into a completely different build to the team. And I guess you and Matt then put your heads together and you're coming up with different permutations. I think you did talk about a dream team at one point. I don't know whether the dream team was the 6 riders from last year. How close did we get to the dream team?
Pretty close to be fair. Obviously, things changed slightly. Obviously, we unfortunately lost Jack a few weeks ago, which was devastating. We were really looking forward to having Jack, and he was in our plans quite early on. But yeah, I wouldn't say we didn't get the initial team, but I think what we've got could perhaps even be better. Look, you quite often see that things fall into place in Speedway in a way that you didn't necessarily think it was possible. Like even I point to last season, we didn't sign Richard Lawson until very late on, and that turned out very nicely. So I certainly think that the team we've got, isn't equal to that initial team we were thinking of, if not maybe even better.
You mentioned Jack Thomas, of course, who took a terrible injury, multiple injuries. It certainly put paid to his season. It's anticipated we may see him. We hopefully see him in some capacity down here. But I know that you're keen to support him as well.
I actually spoke to Jack this morning, just checking in, seeing how things are. I know he had a scan yesterday, and it sounds like things are going as positively as they can do in regards to the injury. He was devastated by the news. He was so enthusiastic. It was quite infectious speaking to him, how looking forward he was to represented the Pirates. So yeah, as I've said, we've done everything we can and will do to support, and we've already made a donation ourselves to try and help on our way. I'm sure we're looking to do a collection at some stage during the season just to help him on. As I said, you know, it might not be a complete season-ending injury, but we won't be seeing him for a good few months, and he's got a little one on the way, so it's really tough for him. So yeah, as I said to him already, anything we can do to help, we will.
I'm sure I'll be calling on all of you to dig deep at some point during the season, and when I do, just remember those words. It's been devastating, and of course, a little one on the way. So indeed. Now there's a couple of new things to talk about this year. First off, equipment-wise, transponders. Great news. We're not going to have to be debating who finished last or who finished first in a race. It's going to be decided on transponders, and it's unquestionable, I guess.
No, I think it's a real positive move. I mean, probably every other motorsport barring Speedway already does it. Not just in regards to, you know, making the referee's job a lot easier and taking out any human error. It will also make updating fixtures and then results that people can access online a lot easier, which can only be good. It's moving the sport forward. You know, we're working hard to get all of ours set up. That will be set up in due course. You know, I anticipate there'll be some teething issues as there is with everything, but you know, we'll crack it.
Looking forward to that, and a new scoring system, in as much as the way in which we brought back the bonus point, an aggregate bonus point, and we may even see an extra heat, because now meetings, if they're drawn after 15 heats, you get a super heat to decide the outcome of the meeting.
Yeah, this was something I felt very passionate about. I felt that Speedway, trying to explain not just the scoring on the night, but the actual points and the league table to a newbie wasn't particularly friendly and very difficult to understand. So we tried to come up with a way to simplify it. I think we've done just that, and we might actually, you know, increase the excitement toward the end of some meetings. You know, if one team's running away with it, hopefully there's still the aggregate point up to play for, and we might get super heats, which you know, I know from the Premiership last year they had introduced super heats and they were massively successful. And you know, Chris Lew at Ipswich said the atmosphere they had when there was a super heat at Ipswich, and that's a big place to generate some atmosphere, was unlike anything they've experienced in the past 20 years. So I'm really looking forward to having one here.
Nice one. And just to confirm then, you get 2 points if you win the meeting, nothing if you lose, and there isn't a draw. A draw isn't possible anymore because you get the super heat, but you do get an aggregate bonus for winning on aggregate. Yeah. Okay. We've identified that we've now got a main team sponsor for the first time for a while, but it's a hard climate, and sponsorship, I guess, you know, that's occupying a lot of your time in talking to potential partners, and we've got a great record because we've managed to maintain and retain a number of our partners, for which we're grateful, but how hard is it now?
We're under no illusions. The climate out there is so difficult, you know. We're all feeling the pinch, but I'm delighted to say that, you know, probably 95% of our partners are back on board for this season, and you know, without them, it's really not possible. They really do help us, and I think probably out of all British Speedway clubs, we've probably got the best sponsors involved, and yeah, they're absolutely fantastic. I can't really thank them enough. It's a delight to work with them all.
I spent a couple of hours with you at the Dolphin Centre a couple of weeks ago when we launched the season tickets, and I was very impressed because if anyone that went there on that day will testify, the queue was going down the Dolphin Centre, down the middle of the concourse there, and there were several newbies, new people buying season tickets for the first time. That's encouraging.
It's actually incredibly surprising. We're actually up on season ticket sales around about 10% this year, which, you know, is, as we said, already spoke about, in this climate, it's absolutely fantastic. You know, if that's anything to go by for the season, hopefully the crowd and the trend kind of follows that. Yeah, it's fantastic, and you know, to see that turnout in the Dolphin Centre, the Dolphin Centre manager came to us afterwards and said, "We've never seen anyone have a queue like that," so that was really nice. And then there was me on my laptop trying to get things done as quickly as possible. So yeah, we managed to get there in the end, and yeah, it was great to see and have a little chat with everyone.
Absolutely right. And in terms of your input to Speedway generally, of course you've now got a seat at the table as well. I think you were at a board meeting yesterday. So again, it's taking up a lot of your time. The mood with the promoters, we've got new faces in place. The promotion team of Speedway in general is probably getting younger, and you're a good testament to that. What is the mood of the promotional force behind British Speedway now?
I think this season in particular is a really exciting season. Obviously we've seen, particularly in the Premiership, some of the top riders in the world coming back, which is fantastic. I think there's a lot of ambition coming back to that top league, which can only really filter down. We've seen Phil Morris being appointed as Premiership CEO, which again, there's probably no better man for the job as an independent. So I think there's a lot to be real optimistic and positive about at the minute. I think things are only looking up.
Good news. I'm going to finish off with a lighter note, really. There's Dan, and there's also Danny, your partner, and every great man always has a great woman behind him, of course. And I can tell you that one of the unsung heroes here at Poole Speedway is Danny. This is Danny's partner, so it's Danny and Danny, D and D. But when somebody shouts Danny, who answers first?
It's funny, like, everyone calls us something different. Like, I know when someone that she knows is speaking to me and her, but so yeah, it's just like instinct. I don't know how we quite get to do it, but just touching on that, actually, I just want to thank all the volunteers who are involved here, because they are truly the unsung heroes. We've been flat out for the past couple of weeks trying to get things ready. Everyone from the track staff, turnstile girls, people like yourself, Nigel, who help out with the whole promotion. It's you guys really are the unsung heroes, and I just don't think that gets mentioned probably quite enough.
Thank you very much, and thanks to all of you guys that pitch in. We are a family, and long may it continue, and I hope all of you as season ticket holders and as true Pirate supporters feel part of that family. And I know that the riders, when they're out on track, all they want to do is deliver for you guys. It's always about, let's do it for the fans. They know what it means to you, and they always want to deliver, and I know that's first top of your list. Danny, thank you very much indeed. Danny Ford. All right, well, it's that time. 2023 is upon us. We are about to introduce 7 men, who are down to 6 today. We haven't got any guests and no rider substitutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together, make as much noise as you can. Let's lift the roof for the class of 2023. It is the Poole Wessex Marine Pirates. Thank you very much. I'm going to ask Rob to step up and give me a hand here. We'll take it in turns, and we'll talk to all of these guys one after the other. As I say, apologies that one is not with us, but we'll get to talk to everyone in turn. Rob Dyer, everyone.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're all well. Happy New Year, as Nigel said to you, and it's great to be back, isn't it, with Speedway just over the horizon, and I can't wait to go to 2023, and I know these boys here certainly will be champing at the bit to get that championship trophy and the knockout cup back in the locker room over here at Poole Stadium. We're going to kick off our rider interviews today with a new pirate, and he's certainly not a new man to Speedway. Will you please put your hands together and welcome our number 7 rider for this year? It's Adam Roynon. Adam, we'll just cover a little bit of background with you, if we may, first of all. You're 34 years old? Originally from Cumbria? Dad used to be a rider? And he's still involved down the road?
He is, yeah.
And you don't want him to win any meetings when you're involved?
I never want him to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adam's been a rider since 2003, I think that's right, isn't it? And in that time represented upwards of probably 20 clubs along the way, and if there's a track that he hasn't been to, it must be far-flung, let's put it that way. The last couple of years have been a little bit up and down for Adam, and that comes on the back of a pretty horrendous injury record. You could actually make a casualty documentary on the injuries that this guy's had along the way, and just gives a quick flavour of what you've had done to you along the time.
Injury-wise? Yeah, so I've broken my back twice, I've broken my femur, ankle twice, both wrists 3 times each, broken neck, I've died twice, or collarbones, yeah, carry on. The only things I haven't broken my hips, so yeah, it's not good, but look, I'm still walking, talking, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
So with all that background, what makes you want to throw your leg over a Speedway bike and chuck it around the track like that?
It's just, there's no other feeling like it in life, just to go out and get that excitement of doing something that you're passionate about, and has the rewards that it does. Yeah, just keeps bringing me back, and also the fact of all the injuries have never been my fault. It's always been some other clown running into me, or it's been mechanical or something like that. So if I was putting myself in the air fence every other week, then I'd probably think this probably isn't for me. So yeah, everything happens for a reason, and you learn and you keep moving forward.
And of course the thing is that coming to Poole, you're going to wear this Kevlar suit, and there's so much pride attached to wearing the skull and crossbones of the Pirates. What are you going to add to the team this year, Adam? What's going to make it right for you?
Whatever's needed. No, just the whole team atmosphere. I've been on the other side of the bits and witnessed it, where people are all just jealous of the team on track, off track. Everything's just a brilliant setup, and just to be a part of that's going to be great. And I'll just kind of just fill in and just offer support and things to the riders, just a pat up on the back before they go out for a race, or even after a race. Any of it is all worthy to the cause, and yeah, it's just an honour to be here and a part of such a successful, massive club.
In fact, Adam, you're almost an honorary pirate, because 2 years ago you carried the spanners for Danny King through most of the 2021 season, and it was this guy's work behind the scenes with Danny that helped to make it such a good season for Danny in particular and the Pirates overall. So you've got a flavour of what happens here at Poole, and you know what to live up to.
Absolutely, and yeah, when the call was made, and it was literally a no-brainer. There was no haggling or anything like that. It was just thank you and yes. Yeah, I know what the setup is here. It's a great club, and yeah, I'm here to make 100% use of it, and yeah, just do all that I can.
So 2023 is going to be fairly busy for you, because not only will you be here at Poole, you're going to go up and ride National League for the Edinburgh Academy in the new season. And of course, we're going to hear your voice, I'm sure, on many occasions with the British Speedway Network, because Adam, if you don't know already, actually commentates from time to time for that streaming channel.
Carry on.
So, Adam, as a rider and then a commentator, it's great that you can give the input from both sides of the track, if you like. You enjoy it, obviously.
Yeah, it's just giving the fans a different aspect to it from a rider's perspective, and yeah, it just means that I do a lot of miles, travelling to all these different venues, but it keeps me involved in the sport, and yeah, every time I come to a track or I'm part of Speedway, I'm always learning. So yeah, it's a great thing that I'm involved in, and yeah, just looking for another great year.
Well, we're certainly looking for a great year from Adam. He's got all the experience that will help us along the way during 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Adam Roynon.
Thank you, Rob, and thanks to Adam as well. Moving down the line and coming into focus at number 6 this year. We regard him as one of our own, I think. He was born and bred in Poole. Of course, he's moved a few miles down the coast now. He's not quite in Poole, but he'll always be one of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Newman. Kyle, a bit like Rob really, we can confirm 31.
Yeah.
So you're a mature, experienced rider now, and coming in on an average of 4.40. And of course we get a bit of a discount on that because you're a Brit. It's the 6th time for you in Poole colours. I was quite surprised when I actually totted it down and thought 6 times you started the season with the Pirates.
Yeah, obviously, I think it was 2011, 2012, first sort of had a crack, and then obviously we had the sort of 3-4 year stint, and then yeah, had a bit of time away, probably a bit too long away, and now we're back home.
You always greet me, and you always greet the fans very hospitably when you come back to Poole. It's always got a nice feeling about it, even when you're on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, you say greet the fans. I'm one of the fans. I've been a fan my whole life, so that's, you know, I feel as part of this club as anybody.
And I think they've got that affection for you. So much so that in fact they voted you as the Pirates Rider of the Year. I think that was in 2014, and the riders that you were up against for the Rider of the Year were Darcy Ward, Maciek Janowski, but you topped them, so that's not a bad thing to put on your CV.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a great honour. Obviously, I was probably getting a lot better back then, and that's sort of an area that I want to improve and get back to.
I was looking at your average that year, and at the end of the year you were hitting double figures just all the time, and getting, you know, I mean, I know you were getting 4-5 rides sometimes, but yeah, you were certainly doing the business. Towards the end of the year, it came absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that's it. Obviously, that was back in the draft system when that first started, but yeah, it's definitely, you know, I know I can do it, so I've got to get back there.
The other guys are looking quite intently now, thinking, okay, so for you, number 6 is the starting position, but surely you've got an eye on the top 5?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't really worry about the number on my back, but I just look at my average, and I know that I can do a lot better than the 4.1, I think it was. So yeah, that's my goal this year. Regardless of the number, at the end of the day, if I increase that and still stay down at reserve, then it means the team's doing well as a whole. So that's not going to be a bad thing.
Either way, it's a win, isn't it? In terms of your actual activity, you've got the Pirates, not in a Premier place. Would you like to see more meetings? Would you like to have seen a Premiership place open up?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, my average probably doesn't warrant it just yet. So I'll be honest about that. It would have been nice, and it's something that I'm looking to do. But obviously, I've got to put the performances down on track to warrant that.
Is it helpful to have more meetings?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think that's part of the issue I've had last few years, where I've only sort of been in the one league, and you're coming up against guys who are sort of riding 3-4 times a week when you're once or twice if you're lucky. So it's something that we've got to change. But yeah, I think if there's a place that I can do, it's going to be here.
Like to hear it. You've got some loyal sponsors that have stuck with you, whether you've been with the Pirates or elsewhere, and once again, they're backing you this year.
Yeah, pretty much kept everybody on board. Obviously, main sponsor CFS. Number 2 sat up in the corner, Ian Bell, who I work for as well. Wessex. David's probably one of the most, you know, loyal Speedway sponsors. I think he's on just about every race suit in the UK if he could manage it. And then all the other guys, you know, I've got some new sponsors on board, local companies as well, and just, you know, really appreciate every help that you get.
Being local, is that helpful?
Yeah. I mean, you can go and see them. I think there's obviously that sort of hometown boy thing as well, which helps. But yeah, especially for home meetings, it's going to be nice this year.
And you've also been able to put yourself about. I mean, you were there at the Dolphin Centre that day when I was there. You were greeting people, buying their season tickets. It's lovely to see you sort of getting behind the Pirates.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Speedway, you know, it's not as big as we'd all like it to be. So if we can go and help and do stuff like that, then why not? It's what was it? It was, you know, a morning out of my day, and it was just down the road. I see that if I can do that for the club, then I will do.
Fantastic. And we talked about sponsors and the support that you've got. Dad, Keith, still there in your corner?
Yeah, he's always there. He's probably my most loyal supporter, and he's not going to be on the tools as much this year. I've got somebody else. You know, he's starting to get on now. So I don't really want to be putting him through that. But I know if I called him up, he'd always be there.
Does it lead to some interesting conversations after the meeting?
Or non-conversations, depending how it's gone.
It can be quiet.
Yeah. Sometimes it's safer that way.
Now, you were featured, in fact, quite encouraging that most of the Pirates, I think, at some point were featured in Speedway Star in quite in-depth interviews. You were one of them, and in there, you kind of made a hint that you might be looking to hang your boots up. We'd be concerned about that. 31, hanging your boots up?
No, that was... I think they definitely chose the title sort of prominently. The fact was, it was like, I'm still here, I'm still hungry. If that changed, then yeah, obviously I'm not going to ride when I'm not hungry for wins, but I am. I'm hungry for wins more than ever with Poole. As I've sort of said, I want to increase my average. There was a time after Oxford last year, I was struggling with my shoulder, just wasn't enjoying it in general. But had some time off, joined Redcar, and I'll be honest, they're like this club. It was a great club, and they got me enjoying it again. And it was the decision between Poole and Redcar for this year. And obviously, you know, 5 minutes down the road is a lot more tasty than 6 hours up the road. And also, this is my hometown club, so if there's any two clubs that I would have enjoyed me riding, it would have been here or Redcar.
Well, I think we got a bargain with you, so we're looking forward to it. And wish you the very, very best of the season. As your fitness now back fully, you happy with your fully fitness?
Yeah, so obviously still trying to work to improve it. Still got a little thing with my shoulder, but now we know what it is. We're working on it, so it's not going to deteriorate, it's not going to affect me. In fact, now we know what it is, I can push it a lot harder. So just keep on improving.
And we're hoping to get out on track this afternoon?
Yeah, I think we've got to go and have a look at it. Might just be a couple of starts or something like that. We're just, you know, we don't want to be silly and risk ourselves on the injury. So we'll go and assess the track first, and then we'll make a decision.
All right. Okay. Well, let's hope that things move in a forward direction for you, Carl Newman.
Now, you're going to be 21 in May, but you kicked off your career in the National League at Kent, and you built up a good reputation down there. And in actual fact, in 2019, you were the National League Riders Champion, which is quite a feather in your cap. But over the last 2 or 3 years, with the COVID year taken out, the last couple have been a bit up and down, really. And although last year you started off good at Leicester, things didn't quite gel for you, and it was a bit of a stagnant year, wasn't it?
Yeah, you know, like in 2020 when COVID hit, I went to Poland. That was a big game changer for me. I started 2021 off really well for Ipswich, and I just sort of got in the injury sort of rung of it, and I just kept having injury after injury come back, and it sort of played with my head quite a bit, to be honest, about my injuries. I guess it for Poole a couple of times in 21 and did pretty good. So I started obviously 22 season off quite well, and I just wasn't getting enough track time and bike time, and obviously I said to Leicester and Ipswich, I need to stop racing for you guys, and I have a Polish club. Last year I was in Gorzów under 24, and they said, look, come over and you stay and live here, and you can ride every day. So that was a massive factor for me, and I was riding pretty much every day of the week, and at the end of the year I come back for Ipswich and Scunthorpe and did really well. So I've been practicing in Poland the last 2 days, so yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, I saw that you was at Rzeszów that you're racing at this year in League 2 in Poland, and as you say, there's plenty of track time available to you out there, and you hope to make their full squad to ride in League 2 out there?
Yeah, it's hard to get in the squad over there, but I know I can do it, and we've already been practice racing, and I've been doing really well in them, so beating some really good riders, some of the top riders in the squad. So we just got to keep plugging away, and go back tomorrow for a practice, and go practice Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's fully go, so I'm going to be race fit and ready to rumble.
One thing is a bit of a shame, really, is that you have to go to Poland to get that progression on the ladder. What do you think the British Speedway could do for young riders like yourself to give them the boost that they need to progress their careers?
It's tough, really. Obviously, like we've been we've had some bad weather over the last couple of weeks really, so none of us have really been able to get out on track. So for like some of the boys here, it's their first time even riding this season. So yeah, sort of like in 2021 we had a thing going when Rory Slime was riding. We were practicing in England in the season like once a week, and it was going really well. And then obviously he went back to Australia, so that sort of stopped. It all just stopped. So yeah, Poland's where it's at for practice and stuff. And if you want to get better, that's the main place to be. But I'm going to be flying back and forward, and yeah, I want to really stamp my authority down on Poole and get myself back into English Speedway of swing.
5.21, the starting average for you. It puts you in the somewhat tricky number 2 position maybe for Poole. You go into heat 1, you don't know what the track conditions are like, you're going to meet the opposition's number 1. But that's a good thing really, isn't it? You know, if you can nail your mark in heat number 1, it sets you going right for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah, you know, when I had my first season at Somerset, I went to number 2, and if I can do it then, I'm sure I can do it now. I was beating number 1s back then when I was, I think it was 17, so I'm sure if I can do it then, I can definitely do it now.
Well, I'm sure we're going to look forward to seeing great efforts from Anders Rowe and his potential as we head into 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, another new pirate, Anders Rowe.
Thanks, Rob, and thanks to Anders. Interesting words there. James Rowe wouldn't have worked, would it?
Definitely not.
Down the list, and well, the first of our resident Aussies, and at 23 years of age, he comes in on an average of 4.92, hailing from Cowra, did I say that right? In New South Wales, Australia. Please welcome back Zach Cook. Zach, welcome back. No brainer, I suppose. This is where you always wanted to be.
Yeah, definitely. You know, within 10 minutes away at mid-lows, nowhere else I'd rather be.
And even though I think when we had a text message, it might have been with Ben actually, saying about the temperature, the change from 35 degrees to 5 degrees the day you arrived back in England, that's a shock to the system.
Yeah, you know, yeah. When we flew out of Sydney, it was like 39 or something. Landed in Manchester, and it was 1 degree, so it wasn't the ideal situation, but it is what it is.
Well, you brought some of it with some of the warmth with you, because since then it's been more like 10 degrees. We've been in double figures, which is a little bit more enjoyable. So although you were a guest in 2021, you were a big part of the 2022, but it does qualify you for the fact that you've helped us for 2 league titles, a matter of pride.
Yeah, I was lucky the 2021 season, yeah, come in for the last 6 or so meetings, and it was the most important meetings of the year really for him, and yeah, I was lucky to go pretty good, and yeah, last year as well we got it done, so just this year to do it again.
Whatever you did at the end of last year is what we want you to be doing all the way through this year, because what a change, just all of a sudden, particularly in the playoffs, double figures, banging them in. And for me, one of the most enjoyable heats of the night was when you got together with Ben in Heat 8.
Yeah, you know, don't know what really changed, nothing personally or whatever, everything just sort of gelled together, and yeah, it was an important part of the season to be obviously going well, and lucky enough to do that, and yeah.
You picked up a useful experience in Poland with the under-24s last year. Is that something you're going to continue this year?
Yeah, I'm there again this year. I'm about the last year of it, so make the most of that while I can, and yeah, just more time on the bike really, which was pretty handy. You know, this league you sort of don't have enough meetings just to keep riding, but yeah, the more time on the bike, the better.
Absolutely. Well, we noticed that there's the addition of Parry's, which of course is a long association with Wolverhampton, and that's where you're going to be in the Premiership. And a bit like I said to Carl, you benefit from having more time on the bike and getting into the Premiership League. That was a goal of yours even last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I knew I wanted to be there this year, and was lucky enough to get a spot, and you know, it's more experience and riding with some big names in that league this year, so it should be good for me, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
And talking earlier on about, you know, being with Ben in the team, how important was that last year, and how important is it this year as brothers to be in the same team and to be around each other?
Yeah, it's pretty good. you know,
You don't fall out too much.
no, not yet anyway. But no, it's good, and yeah, we'll be riding a bit more together this year as 3 and 4. But yeah, hopefully we're 1 and 2.
When you get back home, is there a bit of rivalry goes on between you? Comparisons?
Oh, yes and no. When we go home, we're not riding with each other or against each other, so yeah, there's no brotherly love then.
For your season this year, going to Wolverhampton, it's quite a tight technical track. Plymouth wasn't your favourite. I don't know how you're going to view Wolverhampton, which is a little bit tricky. But different equipment, different preparation, it's a different equation for you.
Yeah, Wolverhampton's a proper speedway track, that's the difference I think. But yeah, it's obviously a bit tighter and whatever, but you can at least race it. So yeah, looking forward to it, and you know, with Steve there as well, so we'll have a bit of time together this year, it'll be good.
Yeah, there's am I right in thinking there's 2 or 3 Aussies in that team, isn't there? So you're going to have, yeah, you've got 4 of you. So there's going to be plenty of camaraderie in the pits there.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I know all the boys pretty well in that team, so yeah, it makes riding a lot easier when you've got a good group of people around you.
It's going to be a bit like a Poole pits.
Yeah, pretty much.
And living with Midlow, that's still working out for you. I mean, a lot of activity goes down there at Midlow. Hopefully he's not got you working too hard. I know last year he said that he gainfully employed you as a chippy and Ben as an electrician. Hopefully he's not been putting you to too much work.
Not yet anyway.
But life is good at Midlow's.
Yeah, nowhere else I'd want to be, you know. It's got a good setup there, and yeah, Susie and Midlow look after us well, so yeah, we're very lucky.
And of course you hook up with Brady when you're there. Brady and Jack, are they likely to appear in the pits for you, around you or Ben this year?
Brady, he's actually moved up to near Manchester this year, so he's not down here anymore, but which is a bit closer to, yeah, obviously Bellevue, and yeah, Jack, he's down here as well, so but he's a busy man these days, but yeah, you might see him every now and then.
And you couldn't have better support than riders like of that ilk helping you in the pits. And of course you're following in the footsteps of some great Aussie names down here with the Chris Holders, the Darcy Wards, and dare I say it, you know, I mean, potential to follow in the footsteps of 2 turbo twins.
Yeah, not quite in that category, but yeah, they own that, but yeah, definitely Poole's had some good Aussies, and yeah, hopefully we can do the same.
Fantastic. Great to have you back in the team. Ladies and gentlemen, Zach Cook.
Okay, well, having heard from Zach, might as well hear from his brother. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ben Cook. For a minute, with the haircut and that, I thought it was Ryan Douglas who's come up to me. Any similarity?
Yeah, the old barber got me good there the other day. I didn't quite want this much off, but hair goes back, doesn't it?
It certainly does grow back. Ladies and gentlemen, what became an absolute fan favourite here at Wimborne Road last year, went home to do the Aussie Championship, and it only lasted about 3 races. What happened, Ben, and how are you now?
Yeah, we got 5 in, nearly 5. It was the last race of the night, and was in 3rd actually behind Brady, and he come into the corner and just, yeah, he fell off in front of me, and we were pretty close together, so I didn't have much room to do much, and yeah, I had to cop what was in front of me, end up having a big crash and land on my head, and kind of just, well, I was pretty lucky. Yeah, I had a bit of a concussion, but other than that it wasn't too bad, so I missed the remaining series because of that, but yeah, it wasn't ideal.
Yeah, the Aussie series condensed into just about 10 days or so. That is a problem, isn't it? If you have an incident in the first one, you've almost certainly got to sit out the whole of the series. But you're okay now, and raring to go, of course, for the Pirates and, of course, Peterborough in the Premiership. And I know you're up at Peterborough earlier in the week doing their press day, but that one got affected by the weather as well, so no track time up there.
Nah, it's been the story for everywhere lately, hasn't it? So it wasn't ideal, but we got all the media and photos and got to meet everyone and fans and all that stuff. So yeah, hopefully, well, tomorrow's the first meeting, but the weather's not looking too good, but yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, so away to Ipswich tomorrow for the Panthers, when You come up against Mr. Safudamov, and no doubt he'll be a feather in your cap when you take that one from him, and a lot more along the way. But that means regular racing, and regular racing is good for you boys, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Last season we obviously had a good season, but you just can't say no to more bike time. And yeah, when that come up opportunity in the last season, it was I was really looking forward to it. So this season should be good with double the amount of riding at least, and keep progressing.
More meetings though means more bike prep and more preparation time generally. How are you going to fit that into your schedule?
Yeah, a lot of time in the workshop for sure, but that's your job, so that's why we're here to do. And yeah, it's obviously not the most fun times compared to riding the bike. You got to spend 4 or 5 hours in the workshop to get them back to race again, but yeah, it's all part of it.
And does it mean more equipment, more expenditure to get extra bikes, extra gear ready to go for 2 leagues?
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, I haven't had much luck with that situation. I bought an engine in the last season and sent it home to Aussie, and it never made it home, so it got lost and still haven't got it. So that was a real kick, and but move on. It's obviously, like you said, it's more expensive, more of everything, but that's the aim, isn't it, to keep riding, and obviously the more you're riding, the more you're potentially earning, so
And to move on to that next level, Ben, what do? You must have a plan at the start of the season. You know where you want to go in this league, you want to know what you want to do for Peterborough. What's the thinking behind it?
For Peterborough? Well, obviously I start at reserve there, and obviously you want to move up in the team, so into the main body, but it's more of a learning experience for the first part. It's a good calibre of riders there this season, and like you say, you got to race the best to beat the best and all that. So it's just keep ticking it off.
So your Danish will be pretty fluent by the time you've ridden them a few meetings, and you can swear in Danish as well as in Aussie. Ladies and gentlemen, 6.09 is the starting average for one of your favourites. It's Ben Poole.
All right, thank you again, Rob, and thanks to Ben. And at this point, I would have been introducing you to Richard Lawson. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, he is unwell, but panic not, he will be with us in due course. He, of course, makes the long journey normally from Cumbria, from Whitehaven in Cumbria. 37 years old, he's one of our most experienced, and of course he'll be the eldest of the pirates, so we'll call him Grandad. And he comes in on an average of 8.17. So that leaves us with one rider to introduce, and he'll be the rider that wears the number 1 in 2023. He's already made his place his home over the last 3 years. Please welcome back Steve Worrall. I detected the biggest cheer of the afternoon.
That's nice, yeah. Thank you.
Lovely to have you back, and technically, although of course we lost 2020, it's the 4th time that you've been named as a starter for Poole.
Yeah, who'd have thought that when I was coming back here in the Premiership days with Bellevue, and who'd have thought I'd been with the Pirates for 4 years. But it's easy to say that it's been the best seasons that I've had in my, it's my testimonial this year, so I can say it's 10 years. In so long of racing, it's where I've had the most fun.
That's really nice to hear. I know that you were great friends with Danny King. I think you used to share a ride together occasionally, so that's going to come tough, but hopefully you're still friends. But pleased to get the call over Danny?
Well, yeah, I think towards the end of last season, obviously we was fully aware that there was three of us as heat leaders, and 3 of us couldn't fit again. We could, but it would have meant that the team was just way too unbalanced. So sadly one of us had to go, and sadly it had to be Danny. I've lost my rider. I've just realised how far it is this morning getting down here, because I've had to drive on my own. But no, Danny's a big character to lose in the team, but the way we've balanced it, we've got I look down there and they all look like kids, you know, like we've got even Adam and Kai and Middleditch, you know, like,
He just behaves like a kid.
no, but like we've got Adam and Kyle, you know, down at reserve, and they're probably the two most experienced reserves out of the whole league. But the team just looks so young. Whether it's I feel old, I don't know. But
That happens with policemen as well, doesn't it?
yeah, but you know, Danny brought that. He had that balance. He was probably the oldest bloke in the team, wasn't he, for the last couple of seasons. But yeah, obviously with different way we've gone now. I feel like. Well, I spent a lot of time last year at number 3. I was in the easy position, as it was called, because it was like it was having a battle of who got the easy heat as being number 3. But anyway, you know, Ben's gonna step up into that position now, and he's moved from number 2 to a heat leader. And if he wasn't going out there doing the job in heat 15 like he was, you could almost question that decision. But you know, he's been going out there. The race come on, I think it was it British Speedway's social media a couple of days ago, was Ben 5-1 in heat 15 against Richie and who was the other one? Leicester riders anyway. You know, so no, like he's proven himself time and time again that he's ready to move into that position. So you can look at it and say, well, we've lost one of the heat leaders, but I feel like we haven't. We've just gained a new one. You know, someone who's stepped into that role now. So.
I well remember standing here 3 years on the trot and watching Darcy go from 7 to middle order to heat leader to number 1. You know, I mean, it's all possible.
Yeah, that's it, and they're more than capable of it. You know, Ben and Zach both now have been, rides in the top league. I know from personal experience how much it helps being in that league. It is obviously your first year and it is daunting. You know, you're in new tracks that you've not ridden before, new people you've not experienced. It is tough, but you know, they've proven themselves time and time again in this league that they're more than capable of going there and doing it, and it's only going to benefit us as a team as well. So, you know, when you look down, we've got Anders. He's just explained where his mind is. You know, he's ready and raring to go. He's had his issues last year, but ready to crack on, I think, now. And if there's any place where he's gonna, you know, we're gonna get the most out of him, it's here.
You wore the number 1 jacket a few times last year, and you said you holds no fear going out in heat number 1. Quite happy to do that. But you've also you've not only just taken the team place, but you've taken the captain's role as well from Danny. Will you have learned from Danny? I mean, captain's role again doesn't faze you.
No, it's not new to me. No, if I was to choose any number in the team, obviously number 3 is good. I like that one. But it would be number 1. You know, I like being first on track. I like the way that your race schedule is. You know, where your heats are. I feel like it makes me step up as well as a rider. You know, because these guys, I guess, are going to look up to me as the number 1. I've got to go out there and lead by example. So it kind of makes me pull my boots up a little bit. So yeah. It doesn't really faze me that, and being the team captain, obviously I've done that quite a few times now in previous clubs that I've been with. Can't say I was the best one, I don't know. Like Danny was brilliant with us, you know, but obviously I've spent 2-3 years with him now, and I've learned and, you know, kind of see how he does things and how open he is with everyone, and you know, I feel like I'm that kind of guy anyway. You know, I don't sit in the pits and keep myself to myself. Like I like to be involved, and you know, but I have to make sure I just go that little bit further. And but we have got some older people in the team as well, so they can help out.
Don't know who you mean. No, I complimented you last year on the fact that you're not just open with the riders, but you've always been very available and very open with fans when they come and approach you, and even, you know, with the likes of me and Rob, when we talk to you, you've always been there and been helpful to us, so thank you for that. Coming back to a team, I mean, I think you joined, was it last year you joined Wolverhampton for the first time? Here, you'd been here for a couple of years, 3rd year back now, 3rd full season. How helpful is it to stay at that place and to know the club inside out, to know the track?
A lot. Well, like if you look at history, like I don't really like to change. You know, if I go to place, one, I just don't like all the newness. You know, like when you're walking down here as a new rider, it'd be like everyone's new. You know, it's just scary. It's like going to a new job. You know, I just feel like when you've been there a few years, you know everyone. The day just goes easier. turning up to a meeting during the season, you're more familiar with everyone, you know what to expect, you know where to go. Even down to like the build-up, you know, if you've got loads of time, you can nip into town, do whatever you want, you know. I just find everything's a lot easier. And like last year with Wolverhampton, it was, because it was new after being with Bellevue for so long. Obviously, as an away rider, you go, you see people, obviously you're friendly, you talk, but they're not part of your club. So then when you go as a home rider and that's your new club, you're like, oh yeah, you know, it's the boss. You know, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it, but everyone's got to go through it, I guess, when you're moving. So if you can stay at the same place, obviously, when the opportunity come for me to stay, I wouldn't really want to be anywhere else. So.
And of course, the same applies now with Wolves. You're going back there for the second time and taking Zach there, so you'll be able to pass on your knowledge to Zach and help him.
Yeah, and obviously, I was towards the end of last year, once people start, teams start reorganising and reshuffling around. The Wolverhampton management actually spoke to me about Zach and was asked, you know, what he's like and whatever else. So obviously, I had first-hand knowledge what was kind of.
And they still took him.
Yeah, they still took him. Yeah, they still. But no, it's nice to, you know, obviously I spend a lot of time with Zach anyway when we're here, but now it'll be there as well. But it's good for Zach that he's got someone in both teams, you know, because you build up that relationship. It's like you've always got someone you can just go to and ask for help, or, you know, even just a familiar face. Because even though you know people in that team, you don't spend a lot of time with them, so everything's, again, the newness, whereas, you know, hopefully it'll make Zach's life a little bit easier in that league, having someone like me there to be at the track with him.
All you need is for him to move north so he can give you a lift and it'll be perfect.
Yeah, that's it. He can pick me up on the way past.
We can't ignore the fact that, of course, in a week's time we're going to be here celebrating a testimonial. Looking forward to that, and what a lineup you've got. I mean, to bring Antonio Lindback back in, that's amazing in itself. Matty Zagar in the lineup as well. Great names coming to Poole, and you're looking forward to it.
I am. I really am. It's
looking forward to not having to think about it probably at the end.
I'm looking forward to it finishing. No, I'm looking forward to the whole event. You know, like it is very stressful, and I don't envy, you know, what Dan and Matt and everyone else that's involved with Poole who are organising things do on a weekly basis, because it's so stressful trying to, you know, get everything sorted. And the main issue was getting the riders. The Poole guys was easy. That they didn't even get invited. They've got to do it. But it's because I'd gone down the route of the teams. You can't just pull someone out of the hat and say, "Oh, you owe me a favour." You know, you have to find people that fit into the. There's no averages involved, which is how it should be. But it was obviously you've got to be able to evenly balance the teams out, and that was the hardest part. And just trying to fill them and get the right person in the right position. And obviously then you have someone in mind and you ask them and they're in Poland. You know, it's frustrating. But finally got there in the end. Set that up. Obviously, big part of getting all them people together is the sponsorship. You know, from sponsors, and I'm really lucky that obviously I've built up a good connection with the fans here, and I've managed to get a lot of people from Poole who are, you know, have chipped in and helped out. So I'm really grateful for everyone part of Poole who's helped me out so far. There's quite a few people from Bellevue as well who've chipped in and helped get that team together. It should be a really good night.
Looking forward to it, very much so. Well, as captain, I hope that your arms are in good stead, because hopefully you're going to be lifting a few trophies this year. How many trophies do you think we're going to be lifting?
Should be 4, shouldn't it?
I think it should be.
Should be 4. Yeah, we missed out on one last year, didn't we? No, obviously that's the aim. We've made a habit of it now, haven't we, in the last couple of years. That's the aim. I'm sure everyone else feels the same. We've made it kind of feel easy the last 2 years of winning the trophies, so I can't. Danny will have me if we don't do it this year, won't he?
Well, Zach and Ben have got a 100% record, so we can't spoil that.
No, and you know, I was only thinking about this a few weeks ago. Like I've been involved with Speedway quite a few years now, and up until being part of Poole and going back to back, I'd only ever won the league once. and you think how lucky Ben and Zach are to come in and, like you say, they're on their records. 2 wins, two seasons, 2 wins. There's not many riders who get to. There'll be riders who race all their careers and never win one. So yeah, we're really lucky, and hopefully we can make it easy and get that 3rd one.
Fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to a great season from you. Looking forward to a great testimonial in a week's time. Make sure you're here, folks. I know season tickets don't count, but come on, it's for Steve. And what a lineup. Just again, go through some of those riders. Zagar?
Yeah, no, I
Lindback?
can reel them off, yeah. So the Poole team will be, I think the lineup, I put myself at number 3.
Now we know why.
Well, in the first draft I was number 1, but then I thought about heat 13 and I thought, nah, I'll have an easy race. So anyway, I've put Lindback at 1.
Yeah, but you're not getting paid, so.
I know, but I've put Lindback at 1. I think it'll be Ben at 2, Danny King me at 3, Danny King at 4, Richard at 5, and Kyle and Zach at 6 and 7, don't know which way around. The Bellevue team is Matty Zagar at 1, Tom Brennan 2, Richie or Charles at 3 and 4, Charles Wright, Roy Sline at 5, Norrick Bladorn and Jay Etheridge at 6 and 7.
Great lineup. Don't miss it, folks. Next week the action really gets underway, and it's all about Steve as well on that night. Even though he said to me, I prefer to just be in the background, I just want to blend in really. You're not a not blending in type of guy?
No, I don't know, I don't like big dramas. It was it's hard to, obviously I've been trying to plan everything. I want to make it serious, but I also want to have a bit of fun with it as well. And so there is a few things like going on, well, from the start and towards the end, which is, like it's not the normal Speedway meeting of 15 heats and everyone's being serious. There will be a bit of fun and some new stuff along the way, and we've got, there'll be 15 heats obviously because Poole want to win. So I didn't want to do any messing around in between that. So I want to make sure that we win. And then there'll be a super final at the end, which will be really interesting. So
the best thing you said there is an ex-Bellevue rider said, Poole, we want to win.
I don't ride for them anymore.
So, no, you're here and you're blue and white, and that's good enough for me. Everybody, Steve Worrall.
Okay, just before I have a word with Midlo, could I just mention a couple of things? First of all, if you're into podcasts, then there are 2 great podcasts out at the moment in the series Humans of Speedway, one with Steve and one with Adam. They're a great listen. They go on for just over an hour or so, but it does give you a fantastic insight into the background of these guys. So Humans of Speedway podcast, it's an hour well spent if you're driving around somewhere and you can listen to it. And I just wanted to mention a friend of ours, Lee Tyers from Pirate Cast, who has been having some treatment recently for some serious illness. He would normally, of course, be here with us and cheering the Pirates on, but unfortunately he's laid up at the moment, and I think all of our thoughts go to Lee Tyers of the Pirate Cast crew. We wish him a very, very speedy recovery. And now to the man who's been there, done it, seen it, got the t-shirt, 20 odd trophies, your team manager, Neil Middleditch. Neil, I often do these off the top of my head without any notes. So I've written some notes today because there's lots of things I want to speak to you about. And first of all, I really want to go back to last year and say to you and to Steve and to Ben and to Zach, what a fantastic achievement on winning a second league and cup double it was. We know you wear your heart on your sleeve. We know your passion is with the Poole Pirates. What does it mean to take another set of trophies home after an important season? Yeah, and people always say, do I still get excited about winning trophies? Of course I do. I mean, I'm in it to win it, aren't I? And I think everybody knows that about Poole. That's why we're hated so much, because we keep winning everything. And hopefully this season can be the same. I'll be quite happy if they don't like us, as long as we've got a trophy in the cabinet.
Why does it always work out? It just seems that something clicks and it works out so that the Pirates come out on top.
I think it's just, we're a Speedway town, aren't we? I mean, Poole, I know we've got Bournemouth Football Club, but Poole is Poole Speedway and has been for many, many years. I mean, I've been coming here 66 years. That's a baby in arms, that's how long I've been coming here. But I think, Stevie said, you've sort of come to the club and we've had such great success over the years, and you just don't want to let the club down. And I think that's the thing that any rider who comes here, bar none, knows we have success and wants to be part of that success.
You obviously shared duties with Habby last year when Habby took the team north. We know that he's not been too well of late. Do you know how he is?
No, I've been in touch with him after the op, and he said it all went well, but I haven't really spoken to him since then, but I'll probably give him a shout out. He's thinking about it now, but he's been constantly in pain, and hopefully the operation has helped relieve some of that.
Well, again, I'm sure you want to put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and wish Gary Havelock a speedy recovery from the very nasty operation that he undertook. Looking back, Neil, you've been in the sport for many, many years now. What's the change from when you started out as to is now, and how do you see it going forward?
I think it's a lot more professional now. I think the uniformity of the Kevlars makes it recognisable as clubs. I mean, I know some of the older school might say they like the individuality of the riders, but I think it's the way forward. You've got to go with progress, and I think the way the bikes are and the profession of the boys. You look at the setups, you look at the bikes; they're all absolutely immaculate out there. And I think we've got to try and do that to keep the 21st century, because otherwise we're going to get left behind. We are a niche sport, we know that, but we love our sport, and as long as it keeps progressing, and with the social networks, and I think we're getting more and more out there. We're not such in the wilderness, and just hopefully we can. We know we're never going to be football. We know that, but as long as we've got loyal supporters like yourselves, and other clubs can get the support. I hate to go to a club and see like 150 people. I think it's awful. We're lucky here. I mean, I think the boys will echo my sentiments when you go to the start, and it's like a Grand Prix. They can still hear the crowd under their helmets, and I think and this is such a nice little stadium, and every club. I don't say want to follow our league, because there's some great clubs out there, but we just have to keep progressing.
And I'll go back to my list here, Neil, because there's a few things I want to say to you. First of all, this time round, we're not the bookies' favourites to win the league. There's people out there who are putting money onto Redcar and Glasgow, but it's a different league this year, isn't it? The structure of the teams has changed a little bit from last year. How do you see it panning out?
I see fine. Yeah, no, that's fine if we're not bookies' favourites, but I think, looking down the team that we've assembled this year, I think I've always said it time and time again in many, many interviews that the strength and depth. I think strength and depth is great this year. We've got youth and experience. Experience at reserve this year, which again something I always say that reserves win your meetings. And I think with Carl and Adam at the moment in reserve spot, I'll put them up against any reserves in the league. I mean, I think they're head and shoulders above any reserve in the league. I think Oxford have gone very top heavy. May cost them, may not, but time will tell. But I think what we've got is a good balance.
Now, over the course of the winter, as always, a few of the rules get tweaked around, and the introduction of this 1 minute rule has got a few people talking. Would you just like to tell us a little bit of your view on this introduction of a 1 minute rule?
If I'm perfectly honest, I'm kind of in favour of it, because I think there is a lot of messing around sometimes. Some of the riders, they do a start and come back and whatnot. I know they're all looking at me, but no, I think if it keeps the meeting going along, sometimes there's a lot of time wasting. Obviously, if a rider's got a problem and needs to do a little adjustment, yeah, but they know they've got 60 seconds. It's not a long time.
And transponders is the other thing. I think that's going to make it interesting, not only from the accuracy of the races, but from the fans' perspective and the riders as well, who will know their very individual times and how they're performing on the day.
Yeah, again, it's progress, isn't it? I mean, who'd have thought that? I'm back, the old stopwatch days, but no, anything that can involve the riders can get know what's happening. It's better for the fans as well. I think it's good.
Well, as you can hear, the man is full of passion, and I'm sure that passion will rub off onto our 7 Poole Pirates in 2023.
Ladies and gentlemen, he'll be gunning for more silverware, and I'm sure the riders will be too. He's your team manager, Neil Middleditch.
That's it for now. As I say, do take the opportunity if you want to grab a photograph, grab a word with any of the guys and members of the press. Now's your chance to get in and get close with any of these guys as you wish. Thank you very much, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you in a bit.